Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome to Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, our daily Srimad Bhagavatam reading class. So we are some days before we not able to continue Srimad Bhagavatam. So today we will continue Srimad Bhagavatam. We are reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Just a minute. Can you see the screen? Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto we are reading. 12th chapter, 6. 12th chapter, Shloka 6. Dhruva Maharaj goes back to Godhead. So before starting, we'll recite Mangalacharan. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayo Mudirayat Nashtaprayeshu Avadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Nastiki Mukam Karati Vachalam Pungham Langhaite Grim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Suchaitanya Ishwaram Antasat Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtayo Bhutale Srimate Bhakticharu Sami Niti Namine Snigdha Cheta Supraneto Bhagvinam Charasapratam Prabhupada Kata Prana Nami Bhakticharu Padam Namoyam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtayo Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devakinandanaaya Cha Nanda Gopakumarayo Govindaya Namo Namaha Mukam Karati Vachalam Pongam Langhaite Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Om Tassat. So you can see the screen, Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 12th chapter, slok number 6. Bhajasya Bhajaniyam Griham Abhaya Bhavachidam Yuktam Virahitam Saktya Gunamayatmamayaya. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Engage yourself fully, therefore, in the devotional service of the Lord, for only He can deliver us from this entanglement of materialistic existence. Although the Lord is attached to His material potency, He is aloof from her activities. Everything in this material world is happening by the inconceivable potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport. In continuation of the previous verse, it is specifically mentioned there that Dhruva Maharaj should engage himself in devotional service. Devotional service cannot be rendered to the impersonal Brahman feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whenever the word bhajasa appears, meaning engage yourself in devotional service. There must be a servant and service and the served. Supreme Personality of Godhead is served. The mode of activities to please Him is called service. And one who renders such service is called the servant. Another significant feature in this verse is that only the Lord and no one else is to be served. That is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Mam Ekam Saranam Braja. There is no need to serve the demigods who are just like the hands and legs of the Supreme Lord. When the Supreme Lord is served, the hands and legs of the Supreme Lord are automatically served. There is no need of separate service. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 12.7, Tesham Aham Samudharta Mrittu Samsara Sagarat. This means that the Lord, in order to show specific favor to the devotee, directs the devotee from within in such a way that ultimately he is delivered from the entanglement of material existence. No one but the Supreme Lord can help the living entity be delivered from the entanglement of this material world. The material energy is a manifestation of one of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's varieties of potencies. Parasya Shakti Vidaiva Suyate. This material energy is one of the Lord's potencies, as much as heat and light are potencies of fire. The material energy is non-different from the Supreme Godhead, but at the same time, he has nothing to do with the material energy. The living entity, who is the material energy, is entrapped by the material energy on the basis of his desire to lord it over the material world. The Lord is aloof from this, but when the same living entity engages himself in the devotional service of the Lord, then he becomes attached to this service. This situation is called yuktam. For devotees, the Lord is present even in the material energy. This is the inconceivable potency of the Lord. Material energy acts in the three modes of material qualities, which produce the action and reaction of material existence. Those who are not devotees become involved in such activities, whereas devotees who are doped with the Supreme Personality of Godhead are freed from such action and reaction of the material energy. The Lord is therefore described herewith as Bhavachiddam, one who can give deliverance from the entanglement of material existence. Text 7. Vrinihi kamam nipayan manogatam mattastvam uttanapade visankita varambararho ambujanava padayor anantaram tvam vayam angasusruma. Translation and purport. My dear Dhruva Maharaj, son of Maharaj Uttanpad, you have heard that you are constantly engaged in transcendental loving service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is known for his lotus feet, lotus navel. You are therefore worthy to take all benedictions from us. Please therefore ask without hesitation whatever benediction you want from me. Purport. Dhruva Maharaj, the son of King Uttanpad, was already known throughout the universe as a great devotee of the Lord, constantly thinking of his lotus feet. Such a pure, uncontaminated devotee of the Lord is worthy to have all the benedictions that can be offered by the demigods. It does not have to worship the demigods separately for such benedictions. Kubera is the treasurer of the demigods, and he is personally offering whatever benediction Dhruva Maharaj would like to have from him. Srila Bilvamangal Thakur stated, therefore, that for persons who engage in the devotional service of the Lord or material benedictions wait like maid servants. Mukti Devi is just waiting at the door of the devotees to offer liberation, or more than that, at any time. To be devotee is therefore an exalted position. Simply by rendering transcendental loving service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can have all the benedictions of the world without separate endeavor. Lord Kubera said to Dhruva Maharaj that he had heard that Dhruva was always in samadhi or thinking of the lotus feet of the Lord. In other words, he knew that for Dhruva Maharaj there was nothing desirable within the three material worlds. He knew that Dhruva would ask for nothing but to remember the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord constantly. Slok 8. Mitra Uvacha. स राजा राजेन वरया चोदितो भुवो महाभगवतो महामती हारौ सवव्रे चलितं स्मृतं तया तरति अयत्नेन दुरतयां तमा. Translation. The great sage Matya continued, my dear Vidura, when thus asked to accept a benediction from Kuvera, the Yaksharaj, king of the Yakshas, Dhruva Maharaj, that the most elevated pure devotee who was an intelligent and thoughtful king, begged that he might have unflinching faith in and remembrance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For thus a person can cross over the ocean of nescience very easily, although it is very difficult for others to cross. But according to the opinion of expert followers of Vedic rites, there are different types of benediction in terms of religiosity. economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. These four principles are known as Chaturvargas. Of all the Chaturvargas, the benediction of liberation is considered to be the highest in this material world. To be enabled to cross over the material nescience is known as the highest Purushartha or benediction for the human being. But Dhruva Maharaj wanted a benediction which surpasses even the highest Purushartha, liberation. He wanted the benediction that he might constantly remember the lotus feet of the Lord. The stage of life is called Pancham Purushartha. When a devotee comes to the platform of Pancham Purushartha, simply engaging in devotional service to the Lord, the fourth Purushartha, liberation, becomes very insignificant in his eyes. Srila Prabhupada Saraswati has stated in this connection that for a devotee, liberation is a hellish condition of life. As for sense gratification, which is available in the heavenly planets, the devotee considers it to be a will of the wisp, having no value in life. Yogis endeavor to control the senses, but for a devotee, controlling the senses is no difficulty at all. The senses are compared to serpents, but for a devotee, the serpent's poison teeth are broken. Thus, Srila Prabhupada Saraswati has analyzed all kinds of benedictions available in this world, and he has clearly declared that for a pure devotee, they are all of no significance. Dhruva Maharaj was also a Mahabhagavata or a first class pure devotee, and his intelligence was very great, Mahamati. Unless one is very intelligent, one cannot take to devotional service or Krishna consciousness. Naturally, anyone who is a first class devotee must be a first class intelligent person and therefore not interested in any kind of benediction within this material world. Dhruva Maharaj was offered a benediction by the king of the kings, Kubera, the treasurer of the demigods, whose only business is to supply immense riches to persons within this materialistic world, is described as the king of kings, because unless one is blessed by Kubera, one cannot become a king. The king of kings personally offered Dhruva Maharaj any amount of riches, but he declined to accept them. Therefore, is described here as Mahamati, very thoughtful or highly intellectual. Text 9. Tasya pritena manasa tam dattavai tam dattavai davidastata pasyato niritardadhe shapi shapuram pratiya paddata. Translation: the son of Idavida, Lord Kubera, was very pleased and happily he gave Dhruva Maharaj the benediction he wanted. Therefore, thereafter, he disappeared from Dhruva's presence and Dhruva Maharaj returned to his capital city. But Kubera, who is known as the son of Idavida, was very pleased with Dhruva Maharaj because he did not ask him for anything materially enjoyable. Kubera is one of the demigods, so one may put forward the argument, why did Dhruva Maharaj take a benediction from a demigod? The answer is that for a Vaishnava, there is no objection to taking a benediction from a demigod if it is favorable for advancing Krishna consciousness. The gopis, for example, worshipped Kattaini, a demigoddess, but the only benediction they wanted from the goddess was to have Krishna as their husband. A Vaishnava is not interested in asking any benediction from the demigods, nor is he interested in asking benedictions from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is said in the Bhagavatam that liberation can be offered by the Supreme Person, but even if a pure devotee is offered liberation by the Supreme Lord, he refuses to accept it. Dhruva Maharaj did not ask Kubera for transference to the spiritual world, which is called liberation. He simply asked that wherever he would remain, whether in the spiritual or material world, he would always remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A Vaishnava is always respectful to everyone. So when Kubera offered him a benediction, he did not refuse it. But he wanted something which would be favorable to his advancement in Krishna consciousness. Text 10. अथया जयते यज्ञेशां क्रतुभिर्भूरि दक्षिणै द्रव्यक्रिया देवातानं कर्म कर्म फलाप्रदम्. Translation and purport. As long as he remained at home, Dhruva Maharaj performed many great ceremonial sacrifices in order to please the enjoyer of the all sacrifices. The Supreme Personality of Godhead prescribed ceremonial sacrifices are specially meant to please Lord Vishnu, who is the objective of all such sacrifices and who awards the resultant benedictions. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita 3.9 it is said, Yagyanarthat karmano maitra loko yam karma bandhana. One should act or work only in order to please the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, one becomes entangled in the resultant reactions. According to the four divisions of Varna and Ashrama, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas are especially advised to perform great ceremonial sacrifices and to distribute their accumulated money very liberally. Dhruva Maharaj, as a king and ideal Kshatriya, performed many such sacrifices, giving very liberally in charity. Kshatriyas and Vaishyas are supposed to earn their money and accumulate great riches. Sometimes they do it by acting sinfully. Kshatriyas are meant to rule over a country. Dhruva Maharaj, for example, in the course of ruling, had to fight and kill many yakshas. Such action is necessary for Kshatriyas. A Kshatriya should not be a coward and he should not be non-violent. To rule over the country, he has to act violently. Kshatriyas and Vaishyas are therefore specially advised to give in charity at least 50% of their accumulated wealth. In Bhagavad Gita, it is recommended that even though one enters the renounced order of life, he still cannot give up the performance of yajna, dana, and tapasya. They are never to be given up. Tapasya is meant for the renounced order of life. Those who are retired from worldly activities should perform tapasya, penances, and austerities. Those who are in the material world, the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas must give charity. Brahmacharis in the beginning of their lives should perform different kinds of yajnas. Dhruva Maharaj, as an ideal king, practically emptied his treasury by giving charity. A king is not meant simply to realize taxes from the citizens and accumulate wealth to spend in sense gratification. World monarchy has failed ever since kings began to satisfy their personal senses with the taxes accumulated from the citizens. Of course, whether the system is monarchy or democracy, the same corruption is still going on. At the present moment, there are different parties in the democratic government, but everyone is busy trying to keep his post or trying to keep his political party in power. The politicians have very little time to think of the welfare of the citizens, whom they oppress with heavy taxes in the form of income tax, sales tax, and many other taxes. People sometimes have 80 to 90% of their income taken away, and these taxes are lavishly spent for the high salaries drawn by the officers and rulers. Formerly, the taxes accumulated from the citizens were spent for performing great sacrifices enjoyed in a very richer. At the present moment, however, almost all forms of sacrifice are not at all possible. Therefore, it is recommended in the Shastras that people should perform Sankirtan Yagya. Any householder, regardless of his position, can perform a Sankirtan Yagya without expenditure. All the family members can sit down together and simply clap their hands and chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Somehow or other, everyone can manage to perform such a yajna and distribute prasada to the people in general. That is quite sufficient for this age of Kali. The Krishna consciousness movement is based on this principle. Chant the Hare Krishna mantra at every moment. As such a possible both inside and outside of the temples, and as far as possible distribute prasada. This process can be accelerated with the cooperation of state administrators and those who are producing the country's wealth. Simply by the liberal distribution of prasada and sankirtana, the whole world can become peaceful and prosperous. Generally, in all the material sacrifices recommended in the Vedic literature, there are offerings to the demigods. The demigod worship is especially meant for less intelligent man. Actually, the result of such sacrifice goes to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Narayana. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 5.29, Bhaktaram yagya tapasam sarva loko maheshwaram. He is actually the enjoyer of all the sacrifices. His name, therefore, is Ayagya Purusha. Although Dhruva Maharaj was a great devotee and had nothing to do with these sacrifices, to set an example to his people, he performed many sacrifices and gave all his wealth in charity. For as long as he lived as a householder, he never spent a farthing for his sense gratification. In this verse, the word karma phala pradam is very significant. The Lord awards everyone different kinds of karma as the individual living entity's desire. Is the super soul present within the heart of everyone and is so kind and liberal that he gives everyone full facilities to perform whatever acts on wants. Then the result of the action is also enjoyed by the living entity. If anyone wants to enjoy or lord it over material nature, the Lord gives him full facilities, but he becomes entangled in the resultant reactions. Similarly, if anyone wants to engage himself fully in devotional service, the Lord gives him full facilities, and the devotee enjoys the results. The Lord is therefore known as Karma Phala Prada. So today we'll stop here. So from tomorrow we'll start slok number 11. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada की जय. तब पावन श्री गुरु महाराज की जय. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्तों की जय. जनिताय गोष्ठान प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल.